Hello there. Hi there. This is don't you love this part? This new part? It's great. Um, I'm Thomas Willeford, and this is something kind of new. I'm going to put that there. All right. This is, I think we called it Meet Your Maker Stripped Gears. I still want to be connected with Meet Your Maker because that's my how-to things. But this is a little stripped down. This is just my live show, we'll call it. I think at the moment, trying to set things up. I'm just learning how to do some of these things, as of course, all the docs. Let's see, the chat doc. Boom, there it is. It's saying that it's working. Yay! Chat is waiting for new messages. So if anyone wants to send me a message, say hello. This is all my new stuff. I'm digging it. I presently, better video quality, all that type of thing. I can do this thing. This is one of my favorites. Just press a button there. Goes over to this camera. Hi there. I can do that whole talking to this camera, but it's all like looking at me over here. Kind of cool looking. At least I think it's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys think it's cool or not. Hey Mira, how you doing? Let's see, camera one. Got my little subscribe thing there for all of you on YouTube who are watching. All of you who are watching, all those people on YouTube. See there, nobody's watching. Let's see, camera three. Oh, camera two. That's my message today. There it is. Yeah, better color, better white balance, also supposedly much better audio. We did the right filters and all the things you're supposed to do with that. So it works a bit better. Camera 2 has its own little subscribe button and such. And switch. Yeah, I can switch to different cameras. I'm going to switch back to camera 1. That's my favorite camera because it's on me. All about me. By the way, since this is mostly just a test of everything, if you have any questions, just give them here. Hi, what's your favorite color? I don't know. By the way, it's green, so you don't have to ask that one. But hey there. Glad you like it. Glad it's looking good. It's very simple. Why the whiteboard black? Oh, why is the whiteboard black? Actually, I was going to tell you that. The whiteboard was highly reflective, so the lights would glare off of it. And it was just making a mess. It just, no matter what we did to make good lighting on me, it was crappy lighting on the whiteboard. You wouldn't be able to see whatever I wrote. So I turned it around black. It's a pin-up board now, or a pin board. I'm probably going to put a chalkboard there so I can write things and do things like that. The camera 2 focuses on that. And later I'll be using it if I'm doing graphs and stuff, but it'll all be done with a chalkboard. Here's how these things work, explaining things graphically. But thank you for asking. It is also, so it's cold outside. At least here, it's cold. It's snowing, or it did snow. Lots of snow, like that much snow. And I've been out in it a lot, working a lot today in it, clearing the cars, getting out, all that type of stuff. So you'd expect that the house would be cold. No, my heat is working exceptionally well. So it is a bit crispy in this room. I had to turn the heat off in this room just to survive. I don't deal well with heat anyway, so there is that. Yes, old school slate. It might just be a blackboard, a piece of masonite painted with blackboard paint. Have the same effect. Slate is a little shinier. Didn't want to fail the test. You didn't fail the test. Yay! I love it when people ask questions. It keeps me from having to just ramble on incessantly. Presently, I have this Stream Deck set up, this little device, so I can just press buttons and changes everything. It's all set up much nicer. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that got set up better. The program is set up easier for me. I can just boop. Didn't have to stare at this all the time down there. I had a second monitor over here under camera under camera 1. I have the second monitor over here. And normally I would have Facebook and some other stuff running around. And now I don't have to have that. I know what's working and what's not. I can even monitor myself. I can do this bit. Go, hi there. And then I hear myself, but it's at a slight delay. So it's very crazy. It's like, Brian, what program am I using? OBS is the name of the program. And it's free, which is really cool. And the Stream Deck is by Gato. I think that's the name of the company. And that's awesome because that makes it so that OBS is, you just got hotkeys you press and all of it works. Yeah, the delays suck if I'm monitoring myself. If I'm monitoring a video, that would be great. I put the headphones on, monitor the video. But that works fine. So actually, don't worry, it's just water. Not breaking any FCC rules there. Then again, I'm not getting paid either. But if I get more subscribers, by the way, if you want to be helpful, go over to my YouTube channel. It's, Thomas Willeford, YouTube/Thomas Willeford or /Thomas Willeford, one or the other. And Gato means cat. Yes, it does. And subscribe there. It helps. Once I get above 1,000, I can monetize a little bit and get better equipment, do some of the stuff I want to do. Eventually, I want to do some interviews. I want to bring people in all safely. This room is huge. I can have people on the other side. And since I have 3 cameras, I could have 2 interviewees that I switch back and forth from very easily so that I can do interviews with science fiction writers, makers, other people who have similar interest to the people around me. I'm still trying to hammer out what I'm doing. It's kind of fun to do this, to do live videos and stuff. But every once in a while, I'm like, what am I doing? Spouting my political beliefs or spouting philosophical stuff. Occasionally, what happens is I get distressed. I go, why are people doing these stupid things? Stop doing these stupid things. Then I study the anthropology of it or the psychology. And after a while, I realize they're not going to stop doing these stupid things. They have too much to lose by stopping. So eventually I give up. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just keep going on. I go, nah, and then I say something and angrily say, stop doing it here. And someone tells me, well, it's okay that I do stupid things because I have regular schedule of interviews. I would love to do that. And to do that, I'm going to have to be able to help compensate people for gas and stuff like that. So at the end, there's a little, hey, go to my Patreon, go to my this and that. It'll be on there, my Patreon and my PayPal, which is great. People can actually just press a button and go, ding, I want to pay PayPal. Yay, buy me a coffee. You don't have to, of course. I will, I'm going to shut up just for no reason. That's not going to happen. I'm going to be talking. I would talk even if nobody was here. It tells me there's some people here. Some people are watching. The moment it says there are 17 people watching. And I noticed 3 people say stuff because everyone else is like, I don't want to talk. Don't want him to stare at me. Remote interviews to start. Remote interviews are cool. You get some delays. I have some remote interviews for a project I worked on. I did a cross-country trip and it's called the 4 Apocalypse. Stop talking now. The 4 questions of the apocalypse. And I ask, I think it's altogether 18 or 19 people, the same 4 questions. And it's about being an artist. I filmed that back in January. Watching and listening, hands are full cooking. You're only shy in real life. No, it's okay that your hands are full cooking. Your cooking is amazing, Julie. I've had Julie's cooking. But if anyone has any other questions, please feel free to ask. And I'm going to switch over to camera 3 again, just because I can, and maybe you want to look at I can also look at this camera. I do it dramatically. I poked myself in the eye with them just when I did that. By the way, just a little bit. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? But more, not wine, water, yes. What anthropological issue is on my mind tonight? It's not a good one. I have one that's on my mind a lot. I have this huge fight with human nature. I don't trust people, but not in the way that you think. It's not because people are bad. It's not because people are mean or anything like that. It's mostly they worry about how they're perceived, one way or another. You know, people love to say, I don't care what anyone thinks. And that's what sociopaths say, because we all care what somebody thinks. And a lot of times, if you ask someone a question, what they do is they go to the back of the book, the teacher's edition, and there's the answers. What we're supposed to say. Do you believe that this is the case? Do you believe that these are good? Do you believe that these are bad? We all know in our group what the right answers are. And quite often we don't believe that, but we say it because we don't want to be perceived as, what's the term? Oh, an asshole. That's it. That's the main term. So we tend to do that. Now people will say, thoughts on willful ignorance, yes. People will say, well, I don't mind being an asshole. Well, then you're doing the same thing. You're saying, I actually believe things are okay or whatever, but this is what makes me look like edgy git. So you say that. Instead of saying what's really on your mind. Most of the time, most things you ask, people don't care. They're bored. They're like, oh, I don't care. Oh, didn't even know that was a thing. My sound lost sync. That's weird. Don't know how that could even happen. That would have to be an internet issue. I think somebody just decided to load a game on things. We'll see if it goes away. My thoughts on willful ignorance. Here's why people are willfully ignorant. You've seen the insanity defense, right? If you don't know right from wrong, then you cannot be accused of, or not be accused, but convicted of a crime. Sound is fine here? Good. People love doing that. They actually do it. They go, but I didn't know. I'm willfully ignorant. On Facebook, okay. I'm willfully ignorant. I just pretend I didn't know. And people love doing that. And people see other people do it and they go, I get away with it. There's another type of willful ignorance that really gets me recently. And it's a bunch of people politically and otherwise saying, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not pointing my gun at you. I'm pointing it all around you. I'm not doing this thing. I'm doing it over here. So, hey, it wasn't actually. You're still making a threat. You're just pretending you're not. And therefore, he reacted. That type of thing. Yeah, that drives me crazy. One of the reasons I carry this around, because, I have no problem. Under the right circumstances, I try to be a pacifist. I am a pacifist in general. But this, I will land on somebody like an asteroid on dino ass if I have to. Because I'm tired of that whole poking and everything. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But I did answer your question, I hope. Something on that. My sound is good. Viewing on FB, yeah, it looks good. Banhammer. Yes. I made this hammer. What happens is, what happens to my other hammers? I've had several hammers. The first one I made was when my dad died. Because I couldn't pry his out of his damn hands. Sorry, what did I say? Anyway, so I made one when he died because he taught me how to do carpentry, construction, stuff like that. And then every once in a while, something happens where I give the hammer to somebody. Whether that's one person, it was after a funeral, and it was after a Viking funeral. Sometimes you're the asteroid, sometimes you're the dino. Thank you, Chris. It's actually the first Viking funeral in England in over 700 years. I was there for it, and I ended up giving the hammer I was part of the procession for the funeral. There was a Viking longship, there was a fire, the whole bit. And after a bunch of drunken encounters and all that type of stuff, where people thought I was grandstanding, which was really kind of funny. I, very hungover, went to the widow, and with a disc of all the pictures from the weekend, and said that this was for you in honor of Tal. Hey, you know, thank you. And everyone went, oh, there was a reason for that. Okay, Tom's not as big of a douche as I thought. And so that's one hammer that went away. I gave one to my nephew once for Christmas. Bunch of things like that. So I make one, different one, new one each time, not each day, but this one is made from bloodwood. This top, literally called bloodwood. It's a very brittle but very dense wood. It does have something written on it. Under here in Icelandic, it says, "Never mistake power for worthiness." Something I remind myself of all the time. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's basically kind of a little bit what it means. What other questions? This is actually working really well. I am digging how this works. There's my little call to action. Yeah, bloodwood is hard to work with. I had to machine all of the shapes. Then I laser etched all of that. This and this and all that. And getting the laser to register and all that stuff was difficult, but I figured it out. And the bloodwood will practically keep an edge. It's so hard, but brittle. You drop it, you risk breaking it. But if you hit something with it, so I'm going to tell you a short story. This is funny. I recently was helping an ex-girlfriend of mine move to Atlanta. Her stuff was here, and it was the last bit of her stuff and all that stuff. She flew up. We're driving down. And I have the hammer in the car. I have me in the car, and we're talking about what makes a person trustworthy? I have no idea. Because trust is not what you think it is, at least not in my world. But I'll get back to that, telling the story. Driving down the road, and we're talking literally about heroics. And I said, and that's a car on fire. And on the side of the road is a car on fire. I don't mean just a little, the front end is, yes, I will show you how to do that subscribe pop-up at some point. There's a bit of a delay. So there's a car on the side of the road. There's a Jeep on the side of the road on fire. It's flames coming out. So I pull over hard. We've got a trailer behind us. Amy, there is some video. It didn't look good enough to put on here. I'll personally show anyone who wants to see it at some point. And I go to get out of the car, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And you know, she was a little like, ah. And I grab the hammer and go, "Stay here," because she can do more here with the phones. It's raining out. So I run up to the car. The reason I have the hammer is if I have to break a window. Yes, I know. Air can come in. Having a tool is better than not having a tool. But as I'm approaching it, I notice there's a tow bar on the front of this. So there's most likely not anyone in it. I do a lot of looking around to see if anyone's near the back or anywhere where I could get in and break the window if I had to. A large, big truck, 18-wheel, pulls up behind it. So I walk toward it. Now think about this for a second. There I am, all thored out with a big hammer, a fire behind me. Walking toward this truck, strutting toward this truck. And I just imagine what this poor guy is seeing. And I walk up, and he's looking a little scared at me. And I'm like, oh, sorry, with my softest voice, which is pretty soft to begin with. And I said, have you called? He goes, yeah, I called the police. Turns out they're already on their way, everything. Is anyone in there? He was thinking the same thing. Hey, don't let anything happen to him. I said, no, there's nobody in there. We're okay and everything. So I go to walk back, and as I'm walking back, the right front tire explodes because of the heat. Air is blowing up and all that type of stuff. Hot rubber and bits and rock and everything hit me, but nothing bad and everything. But my poor ex-girlfriend just sees this explosion of fiery stuff toward me, and then I walk back toward her, and she's like, what? I said, oh, it just blew up. That's okay. And I meant the tire. So that was a chuckle for a few minutes, but Yeah, that was one of those. This is one of the reasons I carry a hammer all the time. Weena asked, what makes a person trustworthy? Here's a weird thing about trust. Excuse me. I'm trying not to make that noise. Bamf. Yes. Oh my God. You remember when I was Nightcrawler. Trust. How trust works. I don't trust people as a general thing. What I trust them about is certain things. I've got friends who I cannot trust with money. They're going to blow money, or they're going to take it and sometimes rationalize why it's okay. But that same person, if I called them in the middle of the night and said, hey, my basement is flooding, they would be the one who comes over and helps me take care of the problem. I would trust some people to drive me to the hospital with a gunshot wound, but I wouldn't necessarily trust them with a secret. Nobody can be trusted about everything all the time. That's not how trust really works. If you try to trust every one person or any person with everything, you're setting them up to fail. We all have our weaknesses and we all fall down. If we can get up again, that's important. I've got a friend I do not trust with women. It's not, I don't think he's not aggressive or anything, but if I said, look, leave her alone, yeah, you probably won't. It doesn't even cross his mind. If he has an opportunity and she says yes, it's going to happen. And I'm like, that's not necessarily a great thing, especially if they're staying in my house, because I don't want to be the reputation of people getting my house. Whatever. There are reasons to not trust them, but it doesn't mean I don't trust them about other things. Hopefully that answers your question about trustworthiness and all that. Yes, it just blew up. Thank you, Serene. That story really happened. It was kind of funny, and it is kind of how my life goes. I wanted to lead when I was younger. I decided I wanted to leave sorry, I'm hiccuping. I wanted to lead a fearless life. I think a lot of people lead very fearful lives because there's stuff to be afraid of. There's bad stuff out there. But it's how you handle it. Respecting the danger of something is not the same as fearing it. I respect the danger of things. Just because I'm fearless about things doesn't mean I go play in the street. It means when I cross the street, I'm not afraid. I think and I look and I check and then I move forward. That's it. It actually is water this time. I know it's hard to believe. Let me see. Yeah. Think? Light refraction. Chris, you have hit on something that has been my bane. How do you handle periods of lack of motivation? Only over the past 2 years, excuse me, I hit a massive motivational crisis. I just was crushed. I could not. It looks like I'm doing stuff, but I didn't feel like I was doing the right stuff. I was procrastinating. I just put off and do anything. I'd do something else. I work on my bike instead of working on people's orders. And I had to apologize a lot, and I feel bad. I've been trying, but it has been crushing. I'm a very social person, and having the lack of social interaction has really drained me. And also bad situations, things like that. It's been crushing over the past couple of years. But some days there's a little bit of motivation and I fan it. When I get it, I fan it. Tell you one thing I do. I stopped carrying my phone with me as much. Put it away. I don't sit in my living room and watch YouTube as much. It's I'm doing research, and then suddenly you're like, look at that dog. Not making dog collars, so I'm obviously falling down the rabbit hole, but just not doing those things. Picking a project, and sometimes I would love to say there's a magic, great little thing to do. I described it like this. Sometimes I'm pulling that anchor, carrying the anchor. Then I look and there's a freaking chain on that anchor. And God, that chain's heavy. And then sometimes I am grinding my teeth moving forward. I realize there's a freaking boat on the other end of that chain, a sunken ship. And I just keep moving. I write a lot of lists. I try to check things off the list. I try to prioritize things on the list. I don't put wash my hands on the list just so I have something to say I did. And I've done that. Now, I am recently climbing out of that pit. I have recently started doing things. I have a schedule that I was very proud of, a routine. And about 2 years ago, it fell apart. That is, I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 to 8 is I make breakfast and say something crappy on the internet. From 8 to 9, I do household chores. 9 to 10, I do business chores. 10 o'clock, I get to work in my shop. 10 till 12. 12, I take a half-hour lunch. If I eat in 5 minutes, I take a half hour for lunch because I eat fast. But it is just a case of just sticking to it, and I stopped sticking to it. And my biggest killer, I realized, was looking at my phone. Looking at it all the time. I call it the validation engine because I sent out a message to somebody. I wanted someone to say that they liked me. You're going to carry that weight, yeah. You know, I want someone to say that I'm okay and that I did a good job, or that I want to put out something. Hey, look at this thing I made, and have people say it was worthwhile. And I noticed a lot less of that because I wasn't making as many things. So I've had to just do it. And I wish there was something more magical. By the way, more caffeine didn't help. All it did was make me psychotic. I don't drink a lot of caffeine, so I try to avoid that. I have my one big cup of coffee in the morning, and then that's about it. Dehydration tends to bring you down, so I've been drinking a lot of freaking water. Also, a lot of I don't drink sweet tea because I like having teeth, but I do drink diet green tea. Diet sweetened green tea by the gallon. I'm drinking that stuff. Good diet helps. When my diet falls apart, my motivation falls apart. And I do breakfast at a certain time, lunch at a certain time, dinner at a certain time. Having that routine, some people hate routine because then I'm not talking to you about this. You know, yay, you're special. That's how it feels to me. I know that's not what you mean. Yeah. Watching this in your shower? Wow. Cool. I love my job. No, I'm trying not to. One of the things I don't do now, and I used to not do this, and I got in a bad habit of doing it recently, is for a while, routine is everything. Yes. I do still have the steampunk car. Back in a second on that. I don't put my phone in my bedroom at night. I put it in another room on charge. What about emergencies? We lived for thousands of years and the whole civilization did not fall apart. The only emergencies that are going to be that bad that would be, I could hear it ring in the other room, but I'm getting better sleep. Getting good sleep helps a lot because if I'm not dragged down tired, I'm more likely to get some stuff done. No, I have a routine, but my internal monologue fights me. I know of the internal monologue fighting you. One of the things that happened to me, a lot of stuff piled up, and every one of them yelled at me. Literally, it was like it was yelling at me saying, I'm the first thing. You should be doing me first. Oh my God, you should. You know what? At some point, you just pick up the object and you work on that. You do till you stop because you ran out of parts or time. Then you pick up the next object, work on that. Sometimes they're not in order. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes the priorities are screwed up. And you just got to do it. And that's really hard. It's really hard because I know the magic words I should say. Well, everyone should drink this tea and do this thing. That's what you do. That's called marketing. That's selling a product. I'm not selling you a product here. I am telling you what I feel is the real thing here. But about the steampunk car, I do still have the steampunk car. In fact, I just got in a bunch of parts. I have to rewire it. I got the wiring in. I got the steampunk car, and at one point, it tried to catch on fire, the wiring. Boosh! So I had to rewire. I have to rewire it. I got it towed to a place, and it's in a very secure place, indoors. Nothing bad is happening to it. And I bought the rewire kit, Volkswagen rewire kit. Great rewire kit. Every wire, every 6 inches says, right front headlight, or whatever. And I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Best way to do it. The fuse block is good. Everything is great on this. Can't wait to do it. But then I thought, I better figure out what caused it. Because if I just rewire it, it could be something else, and it would catch the wiring on fire again. So I finally, dummy me, I kept looking at the wiring. I finally looked at the engine. I know. Trust me. I've hit myself with this hammer a few times about it. The voltage regulator, it's an older engine with an alternator, not a generator. So the alternator fell off. No, not the alternator. The voltage regulator, which was held on by 2 screws, fell off and grounded out on the hot side. What do you mean sound is off? Can everyone else hear? Actually, I can check myself. Can I hear? Yeah, I can hear. Is anyone else not getting sound? Because according to this, I've got sound. Anyway, I'm going to continue. Okay. Sound is fine. Good. Sorry about that, Chris. Right. It depends on people's internet access and my internet access. Anyway, so the voltage regulator fell off and the hot terminal had nothing covering it. So it hit the engine, grounding out all the way down and just cooked this one wire, which is with a bunch of other wires, and cooked them all the way down. Finding that out was actually brilliant because I'm like, oh, now I know what to do. I got a new voltage regulator, brand spanking new, and I've got the wiring harness. As soon as it gets a little warmer, because the place that it is stored has no heat, and I don't want to be there shivering while I'm trying to put that together. Got all the stuff to do, the soldered wires. I've got the electrical meters. I've got all the stuff that's required to do this. Cool. But yeah, that's what I've got. It's I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about having the steampunk car and riding it. I'm even thinking of Tobias and I have been talking. He's not here right now because he doesn't love me at all. Heat shrink tubing. Yeah, I've got loads of heat shrink tubing. I'm gonna cover all of those things with it. Yeah. But Tobias and I are talking about doing a road trip in the steampunk car, which may be getting also, beside just the engine and the wiring, it may be getting a few other alterations. Presently, it has a 7-gallon gas tank, for one thing. So you've got 140, it gets about 20 miles a gallon at the most, maybe 25. It has about 140, 150 mile range. I'd like to increase that. So there's ways of doing that. I'm thinking of getting a fuel cell that can actually, oh, I'm going to be filming this. Yes, thank you. One of the reasons I'm getting all this equipment and making sure it works well. A lovely friend of mine came up this way and helped do all this setup to make it all better. Set up my webcam, which is camera 1. I had just plugged it in and just used it. She showed me how to adjust it, get the white balance better. Am I doing any shows this year at all? So far, I don't have any scheduled. None have asked me, and if cons come back, I'd bring the car to the cons. Yeah. No, not hydrogen fuel cells. No, just gasoline. They still call it a fuel cell, even if it holds gasoline. I want to put one on there that I can have a little electric valve like it's on the back of the car, up top, and I can take a valve, turn it, and it'll fill the tank. Another 7-gallon. That would make it a 15-gallon or 14 gallons, which is a reasonable amount for a car. And then I could have 2 5-gallon cans on it. So yeah, that's a total of 27 gallons. That's a pretty good range at that point. It's over 500 miles worth of range then that I could go. Yeah, I am not going to do a convention if I think it is dangerous, and I'm not into getting away with it. Yeah, hidden in a trunk, yes, in a trunk. Hello, Amanda. So it looks like it's a trunk strapped to the back of the car. That'd be an awesome way to do that. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. So it's got a little insulation from the sun hitting it, things like that. I am going to be doing online WWC. Yes. I'm doing online events to help support them because they supported me. I would love to see. I'd love to see them succeed. Keep them in your mind. Yes, I do want to do that event very much. But I'm not going to do a con that's going to cause a problem, and I'm not into getting around the rules. Like the government of a state will say a rule. Oh, here's this. Well, we found out that this place actually has well, it's all taking place in one room, so we're going to be crammed together, but the permit says we can do blah, 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 blah. No. Couple beer kegs made them to look like wooden barrels. That would be awesome. That'd be very steampunk, too. I'm probably going to... Yeah, I know Old Tucson closed. Oh, yes. They're in the works trying to reopen Old Tucson under either the state or something like that. I would love to see that again. I'm thinking of making the steampunk car a little more diesel punk. So, yeah, that would be really cool. I'd like to have it a little more diesel punkish. The car is from that era, too. So I am like, that would be really cool. I'm going to get rid of the elephants on it. I know, I like elephants. I just don't want them on there. No offense to Jake Von Slat. I actually, just so you know, I asked Jake Von Slat personally if he would mind me altering the car. And he said, no, go for it. Now it's yours. Take it. Go ahead. So no anger. No, I'm not ruining someone else's art. He knows, I know. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing with that car. There will probably be live episodes and just how-tos of how I do this. Also, I want you all to do me a favor, if you can. I want you to go, as many as you can, to go over to YouTube and subscribe and hit the notification button and all that type of stuff. If you haven't already. The more people on YouTube, the more chance that I can get monetized and I can do more cool things. Yeah, film production has been hit hard with it. I do know some people who've been doing well in it. Good friends of mine have been doing voice work for animation. The great thing about animated things is nobody has to see each other. They can do it all from their little cubicle at their home. Voice work for it, everything. Pretty awesome. I am probably going to go in a few minutes. It's been 40 minutes of this. Considering I had nothing interesting to say, I'm very happy with how it turned out. The testing is looking great on all this. I'm liking how it's all working. The ding ding, that is if you go to YouTube and you hit subscribe. Oh, okay. No, thank you. Thank you, Brian. Daily COVID tests didn't work. But yeah, the ding ding is you can hit a button that'll give you notifications. So every time one of my videos comes up, boom, you get a notification. That's how that works. So hopefully I'm answering your questions. So unless anyone has another question, I'm going to sign off soon. I'm going to I have a cool little sign off thing and everything. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's actually why I wore it. Works better without the glasses though. But without the glasses, I cannot see what anyone has written at all. I see a big blurry thing there. I can see everything else in the room really well. I don't need them to drive. I only need them to live. What is my favorite ice cream? Oh my God. Chunky Monkey. Sorry, just hit me. I love bananas. Bananas are one of my favorite things. I love bananas. And I love, yeah, Chunky Monkey. Also love cherry ice creams. Ice cream with cherries in it. How's my health? Hi from Alaska. Oh, someone, I'm doing. Animation would be huge. How's my health? My health is reasonable. It's, you know, your face. Oh, your fave. Okay. Yes, Chunky Monkey is my favorite ice cream. My health is reasonable. I've had to take it easy. Stress, honestly, before the COVID thing and everything, I was literally working myself to death. And now I'm faced with a world where I have to work hard regardless, but if I do too much, I will hurt myself. So, dark chocolate, banana, and walnuts. Yes, Chunky Monkey. I love it. Sorry, now I want Chunky Monkey. Now I'm going to, right after this, off to the Chunky Monkey plant. So, yeah, I was literally working myself to death. And it was not good. I was having a lot of problems. Just, you know, going to the hospital. Oh my God, you might have real problems. And I've been managing to keep it down. There's this constant feeling. I'm going to tell you a joke, and it's a very old joke. So a couple goes into the doctor, and the one gets all these tests done, and the one says, I can't be the one to get the information from the doctor. You go. So the other one goes into the doctor, goes, what's the prognosis? Well, if you leave them alone for the next 6 months, just don't bother them much at all, then they'll probably recover. But if you bother them for that 6 months, they're going to die in 2 years. I said, that's terrible. Okay, I understand. So they go out and they go to the patient. The patient says to their spouse, so what the doctor said? The spouse says, the doctor said we get to spend the next 6 months together. That's how life feels sometimes. I'm trying and I'm being told, oh, you've got a little bit? Can I take that from you? Like, you gotta be kidding me. I need it to heal. And I've been healing and all that stuff. Now everyone's talking about ice cream. Now I want ice cream. Mint chocolate, love mint chocolate. You can only get Chunky Monkey from, you know, one place. But mint chocolate, you get lots of mint chocolate all over the place. I had mint chocolate in, where was I? Not Belgium. Stockholm. Mint chocolate in Stockholm, Sweden once, and that was the most awesome mint chocolate I'd ever had. Awesome, best ice cream. They call it other things, of course, gelatos and all these different things. And I was just like, oh my God. You know, I was there for a couple of days, and I was, you know, lunch was ice cream. I probably gained 12 pounds. You know, I was about to say how many kilos. I probably gained 5 kilos right there. But I had a great time. Oh my God, there's a lot of people watching. Your ice cream is different than the States. Yes, it is. First of all, happier frickin' cows. I love the cows over there. Cows here are just angry. They're angry and unpleasant. I don't like cows anyway. Although I did name one of our cats Moo Moo because he looks like a cow. Brownie crossed with Cherry Garcia. Cherry Garcia is another one of mine because I love the chocolate covered cherry thing. Yeah, one of my favorites. Dark chocolate covered cherries. I can, you know, you get them in a box. I can eat that whole thing, that whole box, and be so sick. But yeah, honestly, I'm gonna tell you some health advice. We all know it. You already know the health advice. Limit caffeine, limit sugar, eat a balanced meal, get some sleep, drink lots of water. We all know this, but we don't like it because it's simple and it's not marketable. No one's marketing that to us. They're marketing their diet or their milkshakes or their thing. Those diets suck and they're not real and they don't work. What happens is they work for such a small percentage and everyone goes, they point at that person. And it works for you for a month and then you pack the weight on again or you get sick. So don't do that. Chocolate covered cherries are now $2. Sucks box of what? Yeah, once I mentioned ice cream, suddenly all these people were there. We'll have an episode all about ice cream. I will do an episode where all I do is eat ice cream. Different ones, the small little things. Dark chocolate cherries from Michigan for Christmas. Oh yeah. Spumani, good, yum, absolutely delicious. Oh yeah. Well, I am out of water. So, and you know what? I have wine downstairs. It's great. Oh, hi there. Hi, great seeing you. I am going to go in a moment. So I'm going to do a little magic trick here because I have to press the buttons in a certain way and everything. So anyway, thank you all. Sounds like a fetish video. Hey, I'm not that weird, but 20 bucks is 20 bucks. Our flavor here of cherries. Replying to, now I want dark chocolate covered cherries. Okay. All right. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you all for watching. If you like what I do, click the like and subscribe buttons. And don't forget to click that notification bell. If you would like to help me go to more interesting places and make more cool things, you can always sign up for my Patreon or even make a donation to my PayPal. You can also purchase some of the goodies I've made at the Brute Force Studios Etsy shop. Now, if you're just bored, you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links for all these will be in the comments below. Thank you again for all your support. Now go forth and make incredible things.